that could be an issue. This is Max. Mo is down. I repeat, Mo is down. I've got Jitters carrying him to you now, but there's a pack of ghouls ahead. Not much of a deal for Jitters and me, but I don't really want them nibbling on the boss.
I'm on my way. Send me your coordinates.
What's it with you lot and coordinates?
Hello and welcome back to another Fallout Wasteland Warfare Battle Report. This is going to be a small continuation from Trade Wars, where Max is going to try and get Mo back to the last stop motel, with a little help from Kate. The game's going to be played over 5 rounds, where Kate has to try and get to Mo and give him a stim pack. The Ghouls are going to try and wipe out the entire party, and the Ghouls are actually going to attack whoever attacked them last or moved last from the survivors. So let's get started with round 1 then. So as the survivors are outnumbered, we're going to start with them. Kate's up first. She's got her 0 VATs for this first round, so she's going to take 2 shots into the ghouls. She's going to target that one there. So that first shot's a hit. And she does 2 damage. Second shot's also hit with an additional damage, as they've only got 4 health. That first ghoul's down. Our armoured ghoul's going to go next for the ghouls. He's going to take 2 moves towards Kate as she's just shot at them. Jitters up next for the survivors. He's going to take a single move, dragging Mo along. And then he's going to try and take a shot into that ghoul. And that's a miss. Over to the ghouls again. That one there is going to take 2 moves. Max is going to take 2 shots with his shotgun into that ghoul that's just moved. That is a hit for 3 damage. Second shot's a hit for 4 damage. I'm not even going to roll for his armour there, as they've only got 4 health. That's another ghoul down. So that leaves the remaining 4 ghouls to move forward towards Max. So that's all of them moved, so let's kick off round 2 by looking at the event card. We have Boom, just a bit of fluff, nothing to do with that one. So survivors still outnumbered, so Kate's going to go first again. She's going to roll for VATS, and she's got 1 point of VATS for this round. So she's going to continue shooting into the ghouls. That's a hit. For 1 damage. That's also a hit with some additional damage and 2 armor break. That third shot's also a hit with 2 armor break. And that's another ghoul down for the count. Over to the ghouls next. That ghoul there is within charging distance of Max, so he's going to do a charge, and then he's going to do a swipe at him. That's a hit with an armor break. Max manages to block the damage with his strong armor, so he takes 1 damage, and that's him lost his strong armor bonus now. Max is going to try doing a couple of stabs with his combat knife back into that ghoul. First one's a miss. Second one's a hit. And that ghoul's down to half health, taking 2 damage. Back over to the remainder of the ghouls now. That first ghoul's going to take a charge into Max and a hit. And that's a miss. Second of the 3 ghouls is going to do exactly the same. And he's also missed. And Fireman, he's going to finish off this round by doing exactly the same thing into Max. With exactly the same result, that's also a miss. So we're over to round 3 now. Event card is turret. That's going to spawn at a random interval over the next 2 rounds. So let's see when that happens. So back to the top of the round, we've got Kate again. She's got a single point of VATS again for this round, so she's just going to take some moves up the board. Our Fireman Ghoul is going to do 2 swipes into Max. That first one's a miss. Second one's a hit with some additional damage. So Max blocks 1 and takes 2. Max is going to go for the survivors next. He's going to do a couple of hits with his combat knife again into that ghoul beside him. And I don't know what he was swinging for, but that's 2 swings and 2 misses. That next ghoul's going to do the same as the fireman, so that's 2 hits into Max. That is a hit with 3 damage and an armor break. So unfortunately, that is Max down for the count, so he's going to take a single move. The next of our ghouls, seeing Jitters out in the open, he's going to take a charge into him and then he's going to attempt to hit. That is a miss. And the last of our ghouls is going to do exactly the same, charging into Jitters. And that's also a miss. And once again, for the second time, I've unfortunately forgotten Jitters. Sorry, Jitters. So, top of round 4. Pity this card didn't come up last round because that's slippery, so nobody gets a charge bonus for this round. So we're going to start with Kate. She's got 2 vats. So she's going to take some shots into that ghoul out in the open. That's a hit for 2 damage. That's also a hit. And that goes down for the count. So that's once again another ghoul down for the count, as he's taken all the damage in the universe. That ghoul in contact with Jitters is going to take a couple of hits into him. That is a hit. Jitters doesn't take any damage from it. Second one's also a hit, and once again, no damage. Remember Jitters this round, so he's going to take a couple of hits back into that ghoul. That is a crit. The ghoul blocks 2 damage, takes 1. And the second one's a miss. Fireman's going to charge into Jitters next. He is getting an additional bonus dice, but just because he outnumbers Jitters at the moment, technically, I suppose, because Max is down. That's a hit once again for 3 damage, and Jitters takes 2 of those 3. So round 5, our turret is finally woken up. It's at the other side of the board, so I don't think it's going to have much impact, as I'm going to roll for VATs quickly. Kate has no VATs, but the only thing she has to do now is step back Mo. So she does that, and that's the end of the match.
Thank you for coming to get me.
No problem, Mo. Better than becoming Ghoul Chow.
Yes, that doesn't sound pleasant.
Definitely not on my top 10 things to do in the Wasteland list anyway.
Not much to look at.
We're getting there, Max. One day, this'll be a great settlement.
Well, you'll definitely need a trader. Mind if we stick around?
Of course, Mo. We could really use you here.
You sure, boss?
Yes, Max, I'm sure. We can finally set up that shop we've been talking about, and a home where we can both be happy together.
So thank you very much for watching that short and sweet battle report. Sorry I forgot Jitters for a couple of rounds, but I don't think it would have affected the outcome at all. Might have downed a couple of ghouls a little bit earlier, but who knows. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.